Well, right on cue, out come the host nation team. It's time to go for gold here at the fourth stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup as Colombia take on Great Britain.
On target number 1, representing Great Britain, Isabel Carpenter, Elizabeth Foster, and Ella Gibson. On target number 2, representing Colombia, Sara Lopez, Maria Valentina Suarez, Alejandra Uciano. The lineup for this match is Clement Cesar.
Well, those are the teams and the officials. I'm Karen Bashir, and I'm delighted to welcome our new in-house analyst, Olympian from the Netherlands, Chef Van den Berg. Chef, what a lineup to start Compound Saturday.
Yeah, this is a great way to start. I think Great Britain has a very strong team with Ella Gibson and Izzy Carpenter, who has recently become European champion. But the Colombian team obviously has Sara Lopez, Alejandra Uciano, and they have the home crowd advantage. So this will be a good one, I think.
It certainly will. The shooting ends in compound archery. 6 arrows per end. Each archer shoots 2 in 2 rotations. And nice and simple. It's a cumulative score, so as we go through the ends, the score just builds and builds and builds. Be Great Britain to get us underway. And the new World Games champion and new world number 1, Ella Gibson, is on the shooting line.
Yes.
Long hold for Elizabeth Foster.
A bit of shaking going on there for both Elizabeth and Isabel, but they managed to keep them in the gold. I'm curious to see if Colombia can keep their nerves a little better in check. That looked like a really good shot, and I think she'll adjust her sight on that.
Just not using as much time, the Colombians. I wonder if those first 3 hours from Great Britain are going to put a bit of time pressure on as Lopez starts her contribution to this Colombian team effort with a 10.
Yeah, you can see how stable and solid Ella is in her shot. She just puts that sight in the middle and just waits for the shot to go, and it's really pleasing to the eye. On the contrary, Elizabeth seems to be struggling a bit so far. She's only shot 2 arrows, so anything can still happen. But I think the first 2 arrows were a bit shaky and a bit nervous. probably the best high five so far we've seen.
Very good. I warn you that Chef notices everything. So a 10 required for a 1-point lead. Just drifting high right. It's going to go for a measure, but if it is marked up, the two teams will be all square. So a couple of things first off, Chef. First one, Great Britain shooting a lot slower than Colombia. Is that going to make a difference?
It might, but it's not necessarily a competition of shooting fast. It's a competition of shooting arrows in the middle. And as long as Great Britain saves themselves the time and has enough time to completely end within the 2-minute time mark, then I think it should be fine.
Second question then. Got the world number 1 in the Great Britain team, the world number 2 in the Colombian team. Gibson is going off first and fourth, and Lopez third and sixth.
Yeah, so typically the most experienced or highest scoring archer will either be the first or last archer in the team, because it's the two most difficult positions. So you either want to have a good start, and yeah, that may evoke some nerves, and the same goes for being an anchor like Sarah is here, because you can close out a match or close out an end with a good shot.
So a couple of 8s, potentially a measured 8 here for Colombia, but otherwise 9s and 10s, a high quality start, despite some signs of nerves.
Interestingly, you would say the Colombians have an advantage because they are used to the conditions, but I think shooting in the rain will not be an issue for the typical British archer.
Yes, we do have some rather wet weather in the UK, but the temperature is certainly very warm there, so it might be a little humid as well, and like you say, that may well favour the locals. Looks like that 8 remained an 8, so after a chance for Colombia to go into the lead, they actually trail Great Britain by 1 after this first end. So if anything, that's really, really good news for Great Britain. They wouldn't want Colombia to start running away right at the beginning.
No, just that 1-point difference is is good enough to at least stay in the match. And the other side of this is that Colombia is starting now, and they can really put some pressure on, because it seemed like even though Sarah shot her last arrow out of the gold, I think they are getting dialed in, and yeah, it's going to be dangerous to shoot against Colombia being dialed in.
End number 2, and Esqueno back on the shooting line.
Yes.
2018 Pan American Games gold medalist. This will be her first ever senior medal for Maria Suarez.
Yes.
It seems like she's looking to make it a gold one, and she seems really, really relaxed. More relaxed maybe than the shooters on the line for Great Britain. So it seems like either she is just really good at handling nerves, or she's feeling the warm embrace of her shooting in her own country. That might also be what's going on here.
So Gibson's job for Great Britain, as Chef Vandenberg suggested, is to go out first and get down some big scores to settle the nerves for her teammates. Here, Elizabeth Foster, and then Izzy Carpenter shooting number 3.
just doesn't seem like they have really settled in yet. It's obvious to see due to the scores, but also the way they're standing and the way they're communicating. It seems like they're a little bit on edge.
And up steps the 6-time Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals champion, a record which she holds on her own.
I just look at the difference in body language as well. Looking at the Colombian team and the British team, it looks like the Colombian team is trying to get each other through this, whereas the British team is just, they seem to have their own little task, and they do communicate, but it doesn't seem to be as open or maybe genuine is the word. It's difficult to express for me, not being a native speaker, because it's really really nuanced, but there's just something, it's different from team to team here.
Just not quite settled, are they? They just don't look quite at the races yet. Going through the process, but it smiles on the other side of the shooting line. Not a bad final 3 arrows to control the damage a little bit, but Colombia leading by 2, and we can see here there's not really much communication from the coach, just starting now to talk.
Yeah, offering a little blow tool to clean up the peep sight, because there might be some people or some archers here on the line using a peep sight with a clarifier in it, so that like a little lens in their peep sight to make the image that they see a bit more clear. But in conditions like these, with very humid or very rainy weather, then it's difficult to see through it if there's a droplet in there. So you don't want to blow it off with your just your breath, because then it will condense and you won't see anything. So they always have a little tool to blow out any potential droplets without making it condense up.
We're getting a look at the number 2s for each of the teams. Suarez for Colombia looking very relaxed. Foster looked slightly better in that second end, but she's taking a lot more time than any of the other archers. We see also the camaraderie and relaxed nature of the Colombians.
Yeah, I'm sure Sarah will love to have that missed high five go in the highlight reel later.
Genuinely looking very relaxed. This is not put on. And we have spoken to Sarah Lopez. We spoke to him. Well, she was actually in South America once the Paris World Cup was going on. She was talking about having a bit of a struggle with confidence. Now she was really having to focus on her mental health. Just a few weeks later, and look at her, silver medalist at the World Games, and now shooting the first opportunity for a gold medal here on home soil. Ella Gibson steps up for Great Britain at the start of end number 3.
Yeah, there's no hint whatsoever of any nerves going through Ella's mind when she is on the line. And then when she gets off the line, you can see that there is a little bit of relaxation and a little bit of relief, maybe, especially if she shoots a 10. But she's really managing her nerves well, and I think that's probably the reason that she's the number 1 in the world right now. And here we'll see a little bit more shaking. But that's exactly the type of shaking that she did when she became a European champion. So I think that's just part of her routine or part of her shot, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that happens to her.
Just a little bit of movement there from Iscano.
Yeah, that was a bit particular because she hasn't really moved so far in this match. She was really, really solid, and just now she had a little bit of movement, so it might be that there was a gust of wind. It's really difficult to see now if there is wind or not, because all the flags are probably going to be wet and heavy, so they won't show as much wind as normal. Or she just had a dip in her muscle tension. That's also a possibility. Yeah, so there was another dip from Sarah, but she managed to lift her arm up just enough to get it back into the 10.
Second rotation for Great Britain, still trailing by those 2 points from the second end, but a lovely shot from Gibson.
Was a big wobble. Yeah, that makes sense, and I think she knew it herself. She was a bit disappointed coming off the light, but I think she's more nervous than we can see from here.
Called an 8 in venue, but I can assure you that was a 10. Oh, it has actually been called an 8.
Alejandra just trumped her own high five, if I may say so. That one might not have hit the 10, but it was a very, very good shot. It's being called a 10, so maybe I am mistaken, but I thought it was just out.
It did look a little out, didn't it? Just to the left, didn't it, of target. And a 9 it looked like for Sara Lopez. I think we're going to need to see what the target judge sees here. Originally marked as an 8 the last hour for Great Britain. Marked as a 10, but we think that one of the 10s from Colombia may well be a 9. It's difficult to see the targets well from our vantage point, but that's what the target judges are there for. Those little movements, Chef, both teams are showing a little bit of movement. Do you think it might well be wind, or do you think nerves are playing a part?
I think it's mostly nerves and maybe just a little bit of technique. Typically your faults in your technique that you would always have just get magnified in a place like this at a finals venue. So if you have a tendency to lose a little bit of tension in your release hand, for instance, it'll just be even more loss of tension in a place like this. So I think that's just what we're seeing right now, and that's just going to be down to nerves in the end.
Well, any vantage point is a good one here to watch your home team. This Park del Rio is right in the centre of town on the Medellin River running north to south through the city. It's part of a development to make more open space in a very, very busy city, and it's also they've planted a load of trees here, and it's also a pedestrian walkway so that people can fly through. They've actually built roads underneath the river so that there's no traffic going through the centre of the town. brilliant location. First time this location has been used, and it does mean that a lot of people get access to this high quality archery competition. Great Britain trailing will shoot first in the fourth and final end.
I don't think Ella has missed very many points so far. I think she's been shooting a very high level match, and it might not show in the team score, but as an individual, I think she's doing well, considering she has some more shooting to do later on today.
Yeah, got her iron, that's for sure, and you're right, she hasn't missed the 10 yet.
Yeah, really, like they're getting their grouping together now, but Colombia has just gone well since the beginning, so I think maybe it's a little late.
Yeah, the Colombians came into this final end with a 3-point lead, and that gives them a little bit of wiggle room.
It's interesting to see that Sarah was talking to her while she was pulled back, so she was basically talking Maria through the shot. Some people like that, and other archers hate it. So I've had team members that wanted me to tell them certain things when they were pulled back, and there were archers that said, just shut up and let me do what I do best. So it's interesting to see how the team dynamic works in that sense.
Well, Ella Gibson, the ringmaster of this British women's team.
That was one of her best shots so far, and I think she realizes that. I think that was a look of finally the shot that I like to shoot.
Another 10 for Great Britain. Puts just that little bit of pressure on Colombia. Gone high 9 to finish on a 2:28. So not a bad score from Great Britain, but there's a little bit more available to Colombia. They could get to 2:32 here if they hit 310s.
A 2:32 would be their lowest score of this tournament, but I think that's still a very, very good score, especially in the final match.
And with the conditions that have changed so much, and they're still on for that 2:32. Breathing space here, a 6 to draw level. Anything more, and Colombia take the first gold here at the Hyundai Archery World Cup. And it is a 10. What a finish from Colombia, and what a way to start our live coverage. The host nation handling the inclement conditions here in Medellin on home soil better than Great Britain. They got off to a flyer and they held their lead throughout. So Colombia have gold in the compound women's team competition.